This weekend marks 111 years since the Titanic struck an iceberg and sank to the bottom of the ocean, taking with it the lives of more than 1,500 passengers and crew members.
Like many historical moments, there is a Youngstown connection to the tragedy. First News Weekend anchor Megan Lee shares those details.
On April 10th, 1912, the Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage. It was just 5 days later, on April 15th, when its voyage came to an end. Tracy Manning with the Mahoning Valley Historical Society tells me passengers from around the world were aboard, with some from Youngstown.
One is so well known. It's the family of George Dennick Wick, very wealthy local businessman here, so many ties to the community with the Wick family. He traveled to Europe, kind of hoping to revive his health.
George Dennick Wick, one of the founders of Youngstown Sheet and Tube, traveled on the big ship with his wife Molly and daughter Mary Natalie, as well as two other family friends.
Also aboard was a woman named Shawneenee George. She was a local Syrian immigrant, and she had traveled back to Syria to be with a dying son.
Just like Wick, Shawneenee George wasn't traveling alone.
She was traveling with three of her male cousins, all coming here to Youngstown to get jobs in steel mills. And then one of the cousins' nieces, Benora. So they were two parties of five, one in first class, one in third class. Could not have been more different.
Unfortunately, when the ship hit the iceberg,
pretty much in both cases, the men did not make it and the women and children did.
On the very same day of the horrible incident, the Youngstown Vindicator's headline read, "Titanic, largest ship afloat, meets with accident." Days later, on April 17th, 1912, Colonel George Wick among the missing.
He is memorialized here in Youngstown on the cover of the newspapers. There were memorial services for him, so much attention.
On the other hand,
whereas with the George family, the two girls survive, Shawneenee and the niece, Benora, but there's no attention. You know, they were third-class immigrants. People really didn't seem to care as much.
Manning tells me what's truly remarkable is the legacies both families left behind, especially with George.
She gets back here, she works as a laundress for a while, her sons open up a small grocery store, and then around 1918, she purchases this newfangled technology of an ice cream cone mold.
And that right there was the start of the famous Joy Cone Company. As for the Wick family, that name lives on in the city of Youngstown.
And that was Megan Lee reporting.